Okay, today is January the 10th, 2017, and right now at 12:30 p.m. we have a temperature of 53 degrees in the foothills of Los Angeles. We have a relative humidity of 90%. That's dropped, and the rain has stopped as of about 2.5 hours ago. We have a barometer reading of 30.04 inches, and the dew point is 50 degrees. All right, so we're looking at the water vapor map for the western U.S., and we can see that there's a lot of flow moving right into California. Again, the jet stream right here. And we also see right here, there is an area, a low pressure system trying to develop right here. And that is being foiled by a transmitter, which is following this right there. We can see that sharp edge. It's about a 60-degree angle right there. That is following this, applying heat in the form of RF energy right there, and that is preventing this area right here from developing into a counterclockwise, a new storm. They're trying to prevent that from developing into a new storm right here. Okay, and also up here we see a counterclockwise rotating system, which is now swirling back around. We actually have like two lows here, which are spinning in a pinwheel pattern. This will probably drop down and probably move in right behind this one. We'll have to wait and see what they do, but there is a channel right here, a blockade. Let's look at the IR map. We can see this channel right through here of high pressure, which is probably going to prevent this moisture field right here from merging into this system here. And that's what we're seeing. We also have some corrupted maps in the mix here, which is that happens sometimes. So we can see a strong flow that's delivering a lot of rain. If we look at the Doppler map, first let's take another look at the infrared map. We see an unusual feature right here where the tip of the pen has everything, the precipitation, the moisture right here is just stopping right along this point here, this edge. It's just stopping there. And this is in the Central Valley area. And so there is something at work here stopping this rain. Also, right off of the Southern California area, the Channel Islands, we noticed that a lot of this yellow that was moving in is all being broken up right about at the point where it should be moving on shore near Los Angeles, right down here where the pen tip is. Now, if we look at the water vapor map here for the Southwest, we can get a better look at what's going on, especially in the rainbow map right here. This is that area I've been talking about right here, where all this moisture is mysteriously just drying up right here along this one edge. That means there's a transmitter at work right in this area, evaporating all that moisture. We do see some yellow patches moving past, but the main area of moisture, which is not getting into Southern California at the moment, is apparently being stopped by some manipulation going on right here. Now also see these, watch these yellow patches of moisture move in. They just dissipate, and by about the point where LA is here, right here where the tip of the pen is, that has all dissipated as well. So we see what's happening. On the left side, we've got yellow patches moving in right about here. To the right, everything has pretty much been broken down. Now let's look at the MODIS Today map. That tells us pretty much everything we need to know. We can see this streak right over here. This is a chemtrail streak sprayed by a jet flying at 40 to 45,000 feet. These desiccants, these chemical aerosols, prevent the lift in the atmosphere, and that's why we don't have rain right now. The last several hours, if we look quickly, divert to the Doppler map, we can see the LA area here is there's no rain. Actually, right here in Malibu, we can see a very small patch of green right there. So it is raining a little bit, sprinkling there. Now, let's zoom out a little bit and take a look at the bigger picture. And we can see that there is rain along the Big Sur area, this mountainous area right along the coast of California, just north of Point Conception up through here. And then we get a lot of rain in San Francisco and Sacramento, and all through up in this area we have snow in the High Sierra, Donner Pass, Truckee. It's just almost a whiteout. Now look at here, we see a transmitter at work right there, and that I believe is Oroville. Let's go zoom in and see that. Yep, that's that transmitter right near Oroville, and we can see the effect that's having on the area there. We can see that scatter pattern from the transmitter rotating and beaming that energy out in various directions. A lot of yellow all through the Central California area. Also, there is a transmitter located right here in Ferndale, just south, sort of southwest of Fortuna. Ferndale is a little farming dairy community that make cheese up there, and we can see that there is a transmitter located right there. We see these straight edges, which all converge right about here. So if we can find that transmitter, which is somewhere near Ferndale, that would be an interesting site. I will see if I can find it myself here later on. But as we see, there's plenty of rain falling and snow falling in California. That's great news, and also in Oregon, all the way up into Washington. Okay, that's all great news. We see some transmitter activity right here breaking up the snow. This is that transmitter near Chico, right here in this area. But the Southern California area, if we go back to the MODIS Today map again, now we can see why the rain has stopped, and that's because of all the very heavy chemtrail spraying going on. The aerosols are being sprayed, and we can see that gray haze over the entire Southern California area. Let's just pan around a little bit. We can see Los Angeles right here. Now the brilliant white is all through here. We can see the brilliant white. This is the natural moisture-laden clouds all through Southern California right here. And this natural moisture, these natural genuine clouds, have been completely blanketed over with this gray stuff. This is the crap that the jets spray. These long streaks we see in the skies, that is the chemtrail mix. Now if we pan around, we go offshore a little bit further, we can see what's really going on here. Let's go off a little further here. See some streaks through here. These are older streaks. These are probably a half hour old. There's a couple of them right there. And then we have a lot of haze. You can see some streaks here. There's one right over here on the far, right over here. But this haze, see these streaks, they spread out, they dissipate, and they turn into this blanket of haze. All right, and that's what this this stuff does. It breaks, it actually spreads out, and it caps the atmosphere, causes a capping inversion layer, and it prevents the lift, which is necessary for precipitation. So when these clouds have no lift, they cannot generate precipitation. And we also see, I'm going to point out a couple of things here in this MODIS Today map. Right here, off of Southern California, this is the Palos Verdes Peninsula. Right here, there is a circular feature right there. I don't know if you can see that, but it's a dark ring. And then we see some thunderstorm activity right in this area. And it's my best guess that this area was targeted with microwave, and we're seeing a snapshot that happened. They hit this area with microwave, and that blew apart these thunderstorms, which were going to move in and dump some more rain. Also, we see some thunderheads and different things out here in this area, but this is an interesting feature right here. We see that ring, and that is probably a blast wave generated from the superheating process. When they target these thunderheads with microwave, they instantly superheat the water vapor in the thunderhead, and that creates a shock wave. We have a rapidly expanding water vapor. We have these rings that shoot out radially from the center, and that's what we're seeing, I believe, right here. So we've got a good example of what's happening just offshore of California. Now look at all of this spraying here. Of course, it's going on all over offshore and right over our heads, and that's why the rain is stopped in Southern California. There's no rain showing up on that Doppler map. And we see all that haze all through here. These are the, as I say, the brilliant white is the natural clouds. And so there's a lot of shills on the internet that will tell you, well, this is just contrails and water vapor. Baloney. That's not true. That is not true. Don't listen to these people because they do not know what they're talking about. Either that or they're shills. They're operatives that are trying to maintain the game, the secrecy game going on. All right. So the reason we're having a drought is because, in part, because of these aerosols being sprayed, and it's turned into some really bad stuff. We've got derivatives trading on the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, weather derivatives being traded. It's really crazy. Who would ever believe you could bet on the weather on Wall Street for getting involved with that with hedge funds and investments, betting on the weather? Well, now you know why, because it's being controlled covertly, and that's exactly what's happening with our weather. It's being controlled by a few people, and it's being marketed as climate change. Completely false pretenses. They've lied to the public, and so we've been doing these videos now for about a year and a half, and we're finally starting to see that there's some people paying attention to what's being exposed here, and so we're seeing a change in our weather pattern as a result. And I'd like to believe that in some small way that these videos are helping to expose what should have been exposed many years ago. We have corrupt politicians. We have mainly ill-informed politicians, and that goes for all of Hollywood, as we've seen the most recent examples of that here just the other night on those awards. These people are just really nuts, and they have no idea what's going on. And I'm talking to DiCaprio mainly right now. I watched his video. He is out to lunch. He doesn't know what's going on. He's got loads of money and a lot of time, and he still can't connect the dots with the chemtrail spraying, the timing of that, and the specific timing of the chemtrail spraying. We have these moisture fields moving in. There's no reason that he can't figure this out. He's a bright guy. He's just got too much time and too much money on his hands. He's not that interested. And so we're doing these videos free of charge as a public service. And as we can see from the big map here, the water vapor map, we have basically a Pineapple Express flow right into California. We've got these two systems. We've got a whole nother moisture field up here, which is starting to spin. They've got transmitter activity up here. We can see these oblique angles, and we'll keep an eye on this. This will be blocked for a time period by this area right here. And that's the report for today. We're expecting rain tomorrow and the next day, and then Friday is supposed to be dry. But again, with what's going on, the manipulation going on, it's anybody's guess. The reports are changing on the agencies every 8 hours, 8 to 12 hours. So we just have to keep an eye on these maps and watch the barometers. And we do have, like I say, 30.04 inches. That's down slightly. And a lot of chemtrail spraying, and that's why we're not getting the rain right now. All right, so we'll leave it here and do another update tomorrow.